Hey, I'm Will from BRStv on the saltwater side of things, and today our hobbies are colliding. So the differences between saltwater and freshwater aquarium keeping may seem like night and day, but there's actually quite a few pieces of gear that overlap that you may not have thought of. So today I'm going to go over 6 pieces of gear that normally reefers like me would be using on our saltwater tanks, but instead we're going to talk about how you could use it on your freshwater systems. So let's get right into stealing some tips and tricks from saltwater reef keeping. The first piece of gear we'll get into is auto top-offs. For saltwater tanks, we use it to ensure that the amount of salt in the water stays consistent over days and weeks. But how can you take advantage of it? Well, with something like this JBJ auto top-off system, you'll never get those ugly hard water lines again. Whenever the water evaporates from your aquarium, this system will fill it back up with water that you've stored in a bucket or other container under your stand or behind your tank. So no splashing water around, no unsightly water lines, and no danger of your pump or heater running dry if you head out on vacation. Now next up is power heads. Normally, you don't really want too much flow in a freshwater tank, as most freshwater fish come from low flow environments like lakes or slow moving streams. But there are fish that enjoy or even need flow to ensure that they get enough oxygen through their gills. Fish like hillstream loaches, danios, and rainbow fish will all exhibit completely different natural behaviors when exposed to a high flow environment. Because of that, a power head like this Seache Voyager Nano could be a great option for your next biotype system, like a fast moving riverbed. A few things to consider. Too big or too small and you may not achieve the flow you're looking for, so something with a controller to lower or raise the power would be a good choice, like this AI Nero. And also, if you need a ton of flow or want to make turbulent water for extra oxygenation, a Gyre style pump like this Max Spec Jump can really do wonders. Our third piece of reefing gear is going to be controllers. Now if you ask a reefer like me what I think of when you say the word controller, it's probably going to be something like the Neptune Apex system or the Focustronic lineup of products. But taking control of our aquarium can be as simple as a manual timer or heater control. The most common failure point on our fish tanks is our heaters. And because of that, most reefers nowadays are using temperature controllers in conjunction to their normal heating elements. This should definitely be standard practice in the freshwater side of things as well. The Inkbird controller is so easy to install, it's as simple as plugging it in and placing the probe into your tank. And with just that easy install, you can literally save your fish from heater catastrophe. But if you want to get fancier than that, a system like the Neptune's Apex system allows you to not only test, but also remotely monitor your heat, pH, water level, and even watch out for leaks. My favorite piece of Apex gear is going to be the EB832. It's basically a bunch of app-controlled outlets, and then also the LD3 leak detector. Since the Apex system is fully modular, you can add or remove the pieces of control that work for you and your system. Number 4 is going to be a piece of gear that you may want to do some research around before committing to, and that would be a reverse osmosis or RODI unit. Some cities actually have some pretty nasty stuff in their tap water, like us up here in Minneapolis. And that stuff's not going to get removed with a simple water conditioner. Things like heavy metals or other minerals can be a cause of nuisance algae or high or low pH. So if you've been battling never-ending algae issues, this piece of gear might be just right for you. Let's get those contaminants out of the water before we add it to your aquarium, and the best way to do that is going to be through a process called reverse osmosis. An RO system like this AquaReady RO is usually all you'll need for freshwater, as the good enough approach is plenty for the freshwater side of things. But if your water is really bad, then adding on the deionizing stage may be needed as well. That's where you come in to decide whether it's right for you. Request or search for the report of your local municipality's water to check for contaminants. If the levels of metal or contaminants are really bad, then a full RODI system is probably for you. But if none of the levels of metal or other contaminants are elevated, then an RO system may not be needed at all. This is because if you're removing all of the minerals from the water, then you'll actually need to add it back to the water before you're doing the water change. You can use something like this AquaForce remineralizer to get it back to the levels your fish need to thrive. Oftentimes it's said that you can use some carbon to clear up your water, but what do you do if your filter's full or if you're using a sponge filter? A simple media reactor like these from AquaReady can be an absolute game changer. These goofy looking filters serve just one purpose: push water through the filter media of your choice. Us saltwater hobbyists typically keep these in our tanks 24/7, replacing the media once it's expired. But where I really think it shines in the freshwater hobby is keeping it on hand for emergencies or when you add a new fish. There's countless media options to use depending on the situation at hand, but stuff like bituminous carbon, Purigen, or ChemiPure Green would be my go-to media to keep on hand. So if you're looking for an effective way to get crystal clear water, or you want a place to put your Purigen pouch, Reactors are where it's at. And this last piece of gear is going to be one that's so incredibly common on the saltwater side of things that you basically never see a tank without one, and that's going to be high-power LEDs. There's a ton of options out there nowadays, with most of the reef tank light manufacturers adapting for your freshwater needs. Stuff like the Ecotech Radion or the Aqua Illumination Blade are entirely mainstream on the saltwater side of things, but quite uncommon on the fresh side. But what do they offer and why would you spend the cash? Well, if you're looking to get those bright red plants to shine and keep those rare or challenging plants, then you're looking for a high output light. There's a big focus on CO2 in the high-end freshwater side of things, but if you add a lot of CO2, you're gonna have to add a lot of light too. You can't have one without the other, and because of that, a light that is not only powerful, but can be adjusted to match your CO2 output can quickly become essential to get the best look out of a high-end fresh system. On top of that, with the quality of our phone cameras nowadays, there's a noticeable difference between a budget light and a high-end LED. Have you ever used a piece of gear from another hobby on your fresh tank? Let us know in the comments. I'm William from BRS TV. Thanks for watching.